Okay, people. So I am joined by Bea Delgado Mena, right? She is the cinematographer on the very enjoyable Octopus, which played at the BFI Flare Festival. So Bea, thank you
Hi,
very much for
hi,
joining.
Kevin. Nice to meet. Well, nice to see you again.
Yeah, if you people, Bea says that because I beat her in a dance contest and destroyed her in a game of Pictionary,
Yes.
whatever you want to call it, right?
You did. It was good. It was good. That was a good day.
Ah, man, you've been ridiculously busy of late, right? So, yeah, what are you currently doing?
Well, right now I'm speaking to you guys from Spain. I'm spending. I came for Easter to spend it with my family, but other than that, I just came here this week. Before then, I was just like working in quite a few things, and now I'm in pre-production of like a few other things. Like I'm supposed to be signed to like 3 4 feature films. I don't know now. Like a long list of short films and some stuff, other stuff that is happening as well in May and June. So yeah, like I mean, I think that a lot of people are right now busy, and I'm really thankful for all those people that keep on pushing and getting money together and produce stuff, and then they call us to make it happen as well. So it's good. It's good.
Hey, yeah, definitely good to be busy, but I have to say, like, your work spoke for itself on Octopus. All right, so how did that gig come about?
So that was like I was contacted by Jesse Gutch, back in like last August or last July with this script written by Ella, the director, and it was beautiful. I loved it. It was like a BFI funded network short film, and that was gonna be shot in Sheringham, which is in Norfolk. And it was going to be shot in September. And if I was interested, so I read the script, I loved it, and I was like, yes, let's do it. So it was a little bit tricky because I was doing pre-production while I was in Spain, but we wouldn't have been able to anyway visit locations. So it was like all about taking pictures and taking the videos, and me and Hayden, the gaffer, working out what kind of lights and where we could be using and all that stuff. So I think in the end it worked fine. So it was a good experience. It was hectic, but what shoot is not hectic. Hey, so
Indeed. So you shot that in September.
yeah, early September.
The sea must have been freaking freezing.
Well, to be honest, like I think that I was very surprised. I had been like in July as well shooting another short film by the sea, and I had the chance to get into the sea. And back in July, it was really warm, and I was telling myself like, oh no, like now in September we are more north, we are in Norfolk, it's gonna be super cold. But yeah, I started like going in just to get comfortable with the temperature. It was good actually. Like it's not the Mediterranean Sea; it's still like cold, but hey, I wouldn't complain. I actually enjoy it.
Uh-huh. Okay, so people, you heard that. If you have anything shooting in the sea, Bea is your person. So hit her up. She doesn't care what time of the year.
Well, I was still from Spain, but no, of course, it was good, and it was Kevin. It was such a beautiful experience. Like I think that probably one of the most beautiful experiences I've ever had as DP while filming. Like imagine that you just get into this sea that day was super calm, and we were so lucky. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to film it.
Mm.
And it was like a super calm, no waves at all. I got in. the tide starts getting in very very fast, and we have to rush to do it. There were like there was this gorgeous like sunset happening, while I was filming sometimes like beautiful seagulls, and yeah, and then like these actors made this magic happen. And I was basically there alone with the four actors. Sophie, the focus puller, was as well there, and we were just super aware of the fact that we were holding very expensive equipment, centimeters away from the sea. So I was
Mm,
very like aware of that, and we couldn't be communicating with the people who were actually on the coast. So it was on us to basically see what and how we were filming and how to almost let the action happen, and kind of like direct the actors to repeat this, or I'm gonna go this way, can you
yeah.
repeat again, and all that stuff. But we were just like fighting the clock so much because the tide was getting coming in and in and in. And then as we left, as we actually put a foot on the sand of the beach, this massive summer storm starting pouring so much water down. It was crazy. We had to, in that moment, I said, like, you know what? I'm just gonna get totally naked. I mean, like with my bikini underneath, but no t-shirt, nothing. And since I'm already wet, I'm just gonna get more wet with the rain, and that's it. And while the actors went to get dry, I decided to jump again in the sea to have a quick dip. And in that moment, a seal appeared. And
Oh.
it was like I was like, "What is this?" And this and the rainbow. It was like, "No way, this cannot happen. This is beautiful." Um, those moments that you realize how lucky you are to be able to work on amazing films with amazing people, and to create this magic by narrating stories with a lot of people, and it's beautiful, like you cannot stop smiling and feeling super thankful for that.
Yeah, you're definitely making me feel jealous, man.
Sorry.
So was that one of the hardest shots of the film? That whole end sequence?
um i I think it was like hectic because um we had very limited time to actually do it, and because the actors were getting wet, we couldn't really repeat a take. And it was a moment that's like, oh damn it, like we waited for actually kind of like hour and a half to the tide to come closer, because by the time we were ready to do the scene, the area of the sea was very like full of rocks, and it was not easy to step on it. It was very painful and not easy at all to do that. So we said that for the sake of the safety of the actors and of the crew, we were gonna wait. So we ended up waiting, and by the time we wait, it was like, oh damn it, like we are running out of time. So we didn't like. Suddenly it was very rushed. We were like waiting for almost a couple of hours, and suddenly it was like, oh damn it, it's already here. We have to do this. So it was tricky. I would say that probably in terms of like the challenge of working in a natural environment, it was very hard to do it, very rewarding as well. And I think that everyone was like, involved in this kind of magic that was happening in that moment. All the crew that stay on coast, on the beach as well, felt it. And despite being hard, I think that what I can think and remember of that moment is more the magic of it rather than the challenge or the struggle. So yeah, I think that all of us really enjoy it, and it was beautiful. I think that there is like other scenes that they were tricky as well, but probably in terms of like um, fighting the water, that was the trickiest one. And the last one, the last scene of the script of the film, the very last one as well was tricky.
Mm, yeah. So what was it about Octopus that really kind of spoke to you, that made you feel so compelled to want to be involved in the project?
I really like the diversity of the cast and crew, and that's kind of like it was like yeah, this is something very interesting because I had never worked with a director who sometimes uses wheelchair, and that was gonna be interesting. And Ella is so open about it, and is so brave, and so that you kind of like get dragged by her enthusiasm in that sense. And Jesse as well, like, was like so professional, the producer as well, and so enthusiastic about it, that I was like, okay, it's not just a story that I like, and a story that I kind of could feel relate to. This story talks about being different in a small town, have a diverse sexuality, even like polyamorous relationships, and a different unconventional approach to love and sexuality and identity. And I think that like for us, people who live in London or in big cities, we are used to these things, like everyone
Mm.
is, and more in our industry, like everyone is something, everyone is like it has a different way of feeling or living. But in other areas of the country, or in other areas of the world, this is not that common actually, and it's not as easy as we think it is. So even though there is like so many films that have been talking about these issues and these things, and LGBTI collective, or other types of like of being and disabilities, or other different things that are not conventional, then you have to realize that it's not as easy in other places. And I think that this film gives voice to those people who suddenly are in small communities, and they struggle to be themselves.
Yeah, I thought, because I mean, the diversity of the cast, right? But the big thing for me with this story was that wasn't the crux of the story. It was just these people. We were just following these people and their situation, and there wasn't any overt notion of, oh, this person has this disability, this person is this person is that. It was just a story.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was the really important thing here, because as you said, when you're living in a built-up metropolis, you know what I mean? Like, it could be anywhere, London, New York, Vancouver, anywhere. You're used to seeing a mixture of people from different backgrounds, different looks, ethnicities, abilities, whatever. But yeah, you go to different parts. Yo, when I went to Hull the first time, and that was a wake-up call. There was no one that
Yeah,
looked like me up in Hull. You know what I mean? It wasn't a very diverse spot. And then you
yeah,
realize, yeah, you go out of London and it's different. So where you have the notion of, oh, well, everyone's used to this, it's like, oh, maybe not everyone is. So I think when we're telling these stories, but telling them from the perspective of there's no difference here, that makes such an impact. You know what I mean?
totally, totally. And what I appreciate a lot about this film is that it's not like preaching about anything. It's just the message is subtle. This is, as you said, it's just like a group of friends who go to, well, get together because of a sad event. And like, you see the connection of these people, and obviously they had the struggles that they kind of talk in between lines throughout the film. And you feel what they are going through, but there is not this kind of big monologue or big message about, yeah, I am this, and I suffer this, and I struggle with this.
Mm.
It's way more subtle, and I think that I appreciate that in films where you don't go to your house feeling like, oh, of course this film was giving me these morals, and I feel like it was so obvious that I couldn't really think of or feel anything else but these morals. And I think that Ella and Tal, the editor, and as well Alistair, the music composer, they did a fantastic job in, well, everyone who was involved in post-production to bring everything that we did during production and put it all together to feel more like a relationship between friends rather than this kind of like big message of these people suffer because of this.
Mm.
So I love the fact that it was subtle. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I think the dialogue, you felt, yeah, this is how people talk, right?
Mm.
Because it's that is the crazy thing sometimes with films, right? Because they bring certain things up, and you're like, why would you be bringing that up? You've known each other for this amount of time, so you wouldn't be saying those words. You wouldn't be talking about that thing. You'd
Yeah,
be like,
totally.
I'm pissed off with this, or this frustrates me. But it's not like everyone hates me because of my height or because of my, like, you're not saying that shit. So it was refreshing seeing
Mhm.
the approach to this film.
Very natural, right? And I
Mm,
love that. I love that. Like you could perfectly. Sometimes I have the feeling that you see something on films, and it's like, oh yeah, no, I will never go to my mom and say like, Mom, I've missed you so much. I love you with the from the bottom of my heart. And then like I don't know, like it's a beautiful message, but hey, probably you will be so awkward to go and tell your mom that, and you will just show in a different ways instead. And those
yeah.
ways, I think that that's like how normal people actually communicate and interact. And yeah, that was beautiful. Like all the things that you don't get to say, but you actually say with your eyes or with the energy. And I appreciate and value that a lot in films.
Mm, yeah. Like making it, was there anything that, you know what I mean? Because of like there's height difference with some of the actors and actresses, right? So did that mean you had to take a new approach to framing a scene? You know what I mean? Because you must be used to doing things in a certain way. So once you come up against something like this, it's like, oh, I can't do it like that. I have to kind of alter the way we look and the perspectives and everything like that.
Yeah, totally. Like we wanted, like both Ella and I, we wanted to make sure that we will never look from a superior gaze.
Mm,
Annabelle, the actress who is the main character, and like she's in power and she's in control. So we wanted to show that, despite the height difference between actors, we didn't want it to get overpower the cinematography. So I mostly use an easy rig, and I think that overall in the whole film you don't really get to feel, or like you know that there is a difference in height, but it's just irrelevant. It
yeah.
doesn't really change anything, and that's what we wanted to do, right? To make it natural, to make it normalize it, right? To make people understand that, hey, like it doesn't matter how tall, how short, how wide, how, like like you are still someone who can have any kind of like interaction with anyone and be normalized on a screen. That a lot of times we don't really see that. We always are used to seeing everything in a standard, like people, the actors, and like I think it's very important to normalize stuff, things. And
Mm,
yeah, I like that in here. I thought it was going to be more challenging actually, but when we were on set, it was quite fine. Yeah, like it was just a matter of putting the camera slightly lower, and make sure that nothing was making anything feel small. And yeah, I think that it was good.
mm. And again, it's like they're friends. They've been friends for this long period of time. So they're gonna, kneel down to talk or have, what I mean, do that, because why would you do anything different? You know what I mean? So it
Yeah,
all, like that, you definitely got this, the sense of friendship definitely jumped out at you. You believed that these people knew each other, loved each other, cared for each other, and I
yeah.
thought that was a great aspect of this film,
Yeah, the actors were fantastic. Like they were so natural, like without telling them much, they straight away got what they needed to do, or in what way. And they were natural the first take and the last take, and they kept that very continuous. And the consistency of the performances was really good. Like I remember the very last scene, is it is already on sunset, and we were actually running out of light, very like big time. And I was like, the gaffer had left early that day because of personal reasons, and but it was totally fine. It was like, okay, don't worry, because it's gonna be stereo, and we are gonna aim to do it kind of like natural. And I just got these Astera tubes to be able to light in case it was needed. But then I was thinking like I'd rather give a more natural approach and work with available light and make it work, like positioning the actors in the right way to,
Yeah.
to be able to make the most of the light that we had. But obviously in September, at the end of the day, like every minute you start noticing the drop of light. So it came a moment that we had to be very quick, filming this scene under so much pressure, like all the shots, like the wide shot, the mid shot, the other mid shot, blah blah blah, in all these takes. And I know that probably the actors felt that pressure, and it's like, oh god, like they knew that we were running out of light. And I remember Jess, one of the actors, they told me, oh Bea, like I can notice that the light is dropping, what are we gonna do? And I was like, don't worry, let's do it. And both Annabelle and Jazz, they were, like they were amazing. Like they kept the performance level right on point, take after take, even though they knew that they had to rush, and straight away reset. We did again the same energy, and like you can feel the energy and the dynamics between them, not only because of the way the script is written, but as well like the way they perform, and they work together, all these amazing actors. So yeah, I think that we were very lucky. It was a nice one.
Yeah, no, again, I think you really noticed, the camera work, right? The framing of scenes. These are things that really, jump out and resonate with you and just help to heighten that experience when you're viewing this. It's like you being, hey, you're highly in demand, right? You're jamming around the world, you're shooting all this stuff. Now, with making something like this, right? As you said, the sun's going down, and you're having to make decisions about, the positioning and everything like that. So, is this something that you've always been aware of, or is this something that's come through experience? And how do you plan for it? Do you already at the beginning of a shoot go, okay, we're shooting outside, these are the considerations, or can you make those decisions on the fly and instantly kind of be like, okay, we need to do this? How do you
Um,
go about it?
Yeah, I think I'm a weird mixture. Like, I've been a procrastinator my whole life. So I was always like leaving everything for the very last minute in school, like university. It was like, well, exam tomorrow, I will study later. I was always like this, and that gave me the ability to actually, improvise very quick on spot to, and years ago, when I started being, I didn't prepare a lot, and I was more into the things will happen, it will be fine, we'll see. So the first years of my career, I definitely developed and improved that part of me that can kind of like improvise on a spot, and it's like, oh damn it, we don't have this. What do we do now? Or kind of like be able to make decisions very quickly. But in the last 4 years, I've found myself preparing more and doing and giving more time to pre-production, working with directors, like working with ADs, working with producers, working with gaffers, of course, to be able to plan these things ahead. Obviously, once you're on set, things can go wrong, very wrong, and you just have to, improvise, adjust yourself, and try to be with the flow. So I'm lucky because in that sense, I'm not scared of like making decisions in that moment, on things that I hadn't really even realized or things that have changed. But yeah, like of course, when you are doing scheduling with an AD, and you are seeing when sunset is and when it's happening, and you're kind of like trying to calculate how long it would take a scene, you take these things into consideration. However, like as I said, once you are there, things can break down, like the camera can stop working, or the actors might be late for whatever reason, or there's so many things that can happen. Then it's like, oops, then what do we do? So you just have to take to say like and cope with that and just make the best out of it. It's like, well, whatever. But yeah, at least we are lucky that nowadays we have amazing cameras, and we were using the Alexa Mini, and these digital cameras can handle quite well low light conditions. You can push for like opening up, and obviously remove the ND filters, and push the ISO till certain level. You shouldn't do that, but if you are in that position that you have no option and you have to do it yes or yes, then okay, well, you have to do it, right? But yeah, these cameras are amazing. You can still push to a 1600 ISO, and you can work it out on the grade. But yeah, it's always much better to try to do it in the right perfect conditions. It's just that sometimes, hey, you just have to go with it.
Yeah, definitely. Like, are the cameras the biggest advancement since you kind of broke into this, the film industry, or has there been something else technology wise that has made a huge change on the way you do your work?
I don't think that technology has affected overall much the way I've progressed and the way I do my work. At the beginning, obviously, like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, when I started doing this, I was working with different cameras. I was working with DSLRs, with mirrorless when they appear, with the small like cameras, or like more kind of like broadcast or low end cameras like Sony FS7 when it appeared, or well, maybe not that one that much, but yeah, Canon 300, SNC 300, and these cameras, and yeah, they are great cameras. But obviously, when I started like working in bigger productions, then obviously I started working more with Alexa XT, Alexa Mini, Amira if there is not as much budget. And I personally really like these cameras, and they've been a big companion in my career. I just love the way they look. You just almost like you don't have to do anything, and it already looks amazing. It's kind of like cheating, right? It's like, well, what do you want? As cameras, like, yeah, Alexa Mini. And then you don't have to do anything. No, of course, of course, you have to do you have to do work. But I just joke all the time, like, I will just like play a rec, and that's it.
Uh,
Um,
uh,
this is
well,
gonna be, people are gonna be seeing that, right? I shouldn't say
yeah,
this.
I know. I think you're putting yourself out of business.
I'm sorry, guys. No, no, no. I do a lot of work, Lola. No, of course not. No, like jokes aside, of course you have to light and all that stuff, but like cameras are great, and there is a reason why a lot of people choose to use this type of cameras over other types of cameras.
Now, does it ever frustrate you, right? Because I feel that the cinematographer is often overlooked when you look at filmmaking. You get the director gets the shout, the writer, producers, not always there's the big cinematographers that people, Andrew Deakins, people like that people know, but it's not a position that is widely recognized all the time. Like, how do you feel about that?
It's interesting because like the people who work in film, like us all, like probably we live in a niche, like
Mm,
everyone we can like get related to and end up working with, or have like be our friends with, they are probably all like film related, and obviously all those people really appreciate the work of TPs. But for me, like, it's interesting when I come to Spain to visit my family or my friends. I just become Bea. I'm just Bea again, just Bea. Whereas in the UK or in Spain, when I'm with film people, I'm Bea the DP. But when I'm here, like a lot of times I have to explain. People don't understand what is my job, and I have to explain to them. Like obviously, my family are tired of hearing me saying this, but when new people ask me what do I do for a living, and then I try to explain. Yeah, there is that lack of understanding. It is frustrating. It is frustrating. I committed that mistake as well, like years ago when I didn't fully understand the roles on cinema in filmmaking. Obviously, you think that the director does everything, and directors are a big part, but so the rest of the team is. And I
Mm.
I truly believe in filmmaking as a collaboration, and I know that the films that I've done wouldn't be the films that I've done without me. The same as I know that directors, editors, gaffers, focus pullers, Steadicam, like a lot of people are very like can be very creative and give a lot of feedback or input, creative input, and all those things wouldn't be the same without them either. So yeah, like I think that the authorship should be owned, like at least mentally speaking, right? By maybe not legally, but at least socially and in your mind, right? Mentally speaking, by
Mm.
more than just the director. Like there is like a lot of amazing people out there that make amazing work, and not just the piece, like. Sometimes in the edit things are rewritten completely from scratch almost, and hey, maybe those people don't get enough credit, and the same with other things, with art, with sometimes there's films where directors don't even have a say in stuff, and you see all the rest of departments working together doing amazing things like collaborating, and then the director arrives and says, I like it, good, and that's it. But the decisions were almost made by other people. Obviously, directors have to be good to choose the team they work with, and trust the people they work with, and have to be good enough to understanding when something is good or something is wrong. But yeah, like I do believe that filmmaking is just more than directing or writing. It's like, as well the piece, and editors, production designers, makeup, costume, like so many things, so many layers of meaning.
Mm. Yeah, it's just one of those weird things that I always think about, especially in award season. You know what I mean? Because it's just like you have best picture, but then the director could be from something else, right?
Mm,
But then it's just like, but it's not a best picture without the work of the director, the writer, the cinematographer, the edit, like all those components. But we don't seem to always recognize them as a whole. You want to fracture everything off, but it doesn't really make sense a lot of times when we do that.
yeah, yeah, totally. A lot of times, what I have noticed is like, and this is a little bit annoying when I've been like nominated for best cinematography or even like awarded with best cinematography. In a lot of like posts and on Facebook, Instagram, you name it, they say like things like best cinematography, and then they say the director's name, and it's like
Mm,
well, for once that our names could be there. Once you actually it would be nice, right? Just to to be reaffirmed, right? Like
yeah.
obviously, this is kind of like vanity things that, ego, we all have ego, and it's something that is not nice, and it's better to just like whatever. It's like I just try to not think of it much, and I don't. But that one time that it happens, like they could at least tag you as well. Just tag you, just like you can put film by the director, and then tag you as well to be able
Mm.
to share around. But no, sometimes they don't. It's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, the film is by the director, and that's it.
I mean, it's
I
nice.
love you all directors, by the way. Just
Yeah.
directors who sees me like as
But
well.
it's just nice to know that people recognize that you're doing good work. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Like I mean, like I guess that obviously when you're like in big festivals and all that stuff, I think that like people are recognized, and I don't think that you will never earn like a big festival prize without having been properly credited. But maybe with a smaller or medium sized ones, a lot of times, yeah, it happens. It's always like, the award for this film by director.
Yeah. I so yeah, Octopus is done. Like, is it getting the like? Did you think it would get the attention it's getting? You know, the reception from the festival audiences and things like that.
Well, I don't know. I think that they are submitting it to other festivals, and let's see. It just started the festival circuit with BFI Flare a couple of weeks ago. So I guess that it's too soon
Oh,
to.
that was your first one.
It was the first. No, it was the first one of Octopus. It was the first.
Ah.
So it was basically premiere in BFI Flare. But yeah, I think that the idea is to submit to more festivals. I think that I believe that they are doing so. And yeah, like I think that it will have a nice run of festivals. I'm particularly happy with this film. I think that it came together very nicely, and I think that's yeah is a film that we can feel proud of.
Yeah, people seem to like it. Yeah,
Yeah,
from
yeah.
everything people liked it. So, yeah, I mean, I think everyone involved can be proud of themselves with this one. But once it's done, like, how quickly do you like to move on to the next project? Do you like giving yourself a little break? Obviously, right now you've been jumping around like a jack in a box, but yeah, what's the normal kind of situation for you there?
So on the shoot, I finished. I think that we shot that on the 8th and the 9th of September, something like that. Then on the 10th, I was coming back to London, and I think that 11 and 12, I already was in rehearsals for the next short film that was started on the Monday. So basically, I finished this shoot on a Friday, and then on Monday, I was on another a short film that will start getting into festivals as well soon. So yeah, like I will say I always have a lot of things on the plate at the same time. I think that that's the way to like probably a lot of heads of departments they have to do that. If they are making a living with narrative and that stuff, but you don't really disconnect from the project in a long time. I'm still like messaging directors from projects that I shot over 3 years ago to ask them how is it going, how is the festival, still promoting them on social media, like supporting as much as you can. So I don't jump, and I think that a lot of DPs they do this, right? They don't jump from one project to another and that's it. I think that
Mm,
you have a long-term commitment with every one of those projects. Obviously the commitment is different to the directors usually, but it's quite similar in the same of like we still try to stay with the project for a long time. I definitely don't disconnect. I'm involved in the grade. Directors send me edit cuts sometimes to ask for feedback. If you have a good relationship with directors, which is usually the case, and you are kind of like involved in the whole process, and it's nice to know that they still take you into account. Obviously your opinion is just an opinion, and that's fine. But yeah, I don't like that feeling of leaving the directors on their own, because I think that, and I've talked with directors about this, like sometimes they feel kind of lonely in the end of the process. uh,
mm,
they feel like during production you are with a lot of people. Everyone seems super excited, then you get into post-production, a lot of times you are just stuck in a room with the editor for a long while. Post-production can be a quite lonely process, and depending on the producer, sometimes producers don't even get involved into festival circuits, and they kind of like leave the project almost when the post-production is happening. So I do understand that it comes a moment that directors is like, okay, so I'm just here alone with my film, and if I don't push for it, no one is going to push for it. So yeah, I do understand their complaint, and they are totally right on that. Yeah.
mm. So with moving on to the next projects and everything like that, but still with sometimes an eye on previous projects, how do you keep everything, the focus in your mind on, the work that you're doing and the different shots and, what I mean? How do you keep all of that
Yeah,
just
it's mental. Sometimes I struggle with that sometimes, above all when I'm in pre-production of several projects. So when I'm still in pre-production of several projects at the same time, like for instance, in February, in like 4 weeks and a half, I shot four different short films and two fashion commercials in those 4 weeks in different parts of the UK, each of those shoots. And it came a moment that I was just going nuts. Like I was kind of like, oh my God, how do I manage all these meetings and all more the creative approach, right? Because
Mm,
every project is different. Every project demands and requires something different in terms of like a creative approach, technical approach, what it needs, mood board. And sometimes it happens that when you're like trying to think of the look of one project, and then after half an hour you have another meeting for another project, it's kind of like you just like have to, oh my God, I'm just like thinking. And yeah, it's sometimes hard to isolate one from the other, if that makes sense. And
mm.
I tell the directors this, like I'm very honest and I'm very open about this, like, oh my God, I have this, and I'm feeling that I'm just applying the same look to every one of them, which sometimes that's the way it should be, because that's the way. But I'm all the time over aware of not doing this, because like each project requires something different.
Yeah.
And I think that I do manage, but a lot of times I think about it, like kind of like, oh my God, it's too much. I need to disconnect a little bit.
Like, so with a project, like, yeah, what's the process? Do you have like a mood board, a Word document? Do you put together a playlist? Like, how do you get into the zone where you can envision the look and the feel and what you're gonna need to bring that alive?
I think it varies the process. Usually, there is obviously you read the script, and then you feel something with it, like kind of like things come to your mind. You have to be very, very careful, because sometimes what comes to your mind is what you just watched last night, the previous night. Like, I watched this film. Oh, look at this type of shots. It looks perfectly fine for this script and for this project. And sometimes, like, no, shut up. Just don't do that. Like, try to give a second thought and a third thought to see what it requires. But then after that first reading the script and feeling it, conversations with the director, like, hey, do you have any references? Is there any films that came to your mind that you like, or you thought? Because obviously when I read the script, things come to my mind, like, and not just cinematography wise, but as well on the way edit, the pace, the sound, the music. We all watch films and we all watch TV series, and we all have a creative view of a lot of things, not just our own role. So
Mm,
I try to obviously make sure that I understand what is the kind of like style that the director is at least at the beginning aiming for, so that I don't get very far away from that when I'm like visualizing and feeling it inside of me. And after that, what I would do is like sharing references, even like giving feedback about like, okay, you thought of this film, but what about this other film with this totally different style? Have a look. Let me know. And you little by little start building. I guess as well it depends on the director. Sometimes some directors know perfectly fine what they want. Other times you kind of agree on kind of like overall feel, but then a lot of things happen on set or on the very last stages of pre-production. And after talking with the directors and all that stuff about what kind of film we want, I create mood boards with stills from projects that I know, from a collection of stills from different DPs that I have, to be able to show the feel and the colors and the cinematography style. I create those mood boards. I share that with production, with directors, and usually they are happy with them. Other times they as well like add other things, and we can like create it together. and that helps me to share with the crew, and when I'm talking with the gaffer, those first stages of like trying to build the lighting look, those mood boards that I usually put on Pinterest, they are very useful, and I just share it with them. It's like, look, I'm just trying, I want to go for this kind of look, this, and yeah, like something I've never done it, but maybe I should do it, is to share these mood boards with rental houses when we approach them to ask for equipment.
Mm. Yeah.
So maybe I start doing that actually. It just came
That
to my
sounds
mind.
like
It just came to my mind.
a good idea. Bea, like I realize you're on holiday. You know what I
I know
mean?
it's fine. We are never on holidays. None of us are never on holidays. We are all the time taking the phone if a new message came or a new script, and so no. I just finished one meeting for a music video I have soon, and after this I will have more stuff to do, and yeah, no, don't worry, it's fine.
Well, I really appreciate your time. Let people, well, firstly, like your the projects that are coming up, like is there anything you can talk about? You know, let people
Yeah,
know what to keep an eye out for.
yeah, like soon I will start posting on Instagram the work of like a musical that I did right after Octopus, days after Octopus. I think that the festival circuit is starting in June, so still like a little bit time ahead, but production is happy to start sharing things around in terms of stills. So that film is called Sleep Singing, directed
Wait,
by.
you worked on a musical?
Yeah, this was a musical.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Bea, you do realize I can dance like a freaking angel, and I've got a wicked singing voice, and no phone call, nothing. Like,
Hey,
what's going on, Bea?
I didn't know you when we did this, but
Ah,
it's good to know.
man.
Good to know. Good to know. I definitely love your vibe and your energy, so I think that you'll be sick for one of these films. Yeah, of course. No, sure. You need to send me your agent details, and I will share it with productions.
Okay.
Next time I do a musical.
All right. I do that. I do that for sure.
Good.
So that's gonna hit in maybe June. Okay. So
Yeah.
what else? What else you work?
What else? Like I did as well recently, like kind of like partnership with BBC. Not quite, but it was like BBC was participated in some way. A film called The Pink Pill, that we finished in February as well. And well, we are already on the grades, on the grade stage. And yeah, I think it's gonna be really nice. That was like we built a set. Well, I didn't, obviously, the set builders and the amazing production designer. They built the set completely. We worked so close to decide colors and look, wallpapers, and it just looks beautiful. And I think that it's a thriller, so it's a little bit
Mhm.
and it's just in this hotel room the whole film, what happens between the characters, and that's gonna be a good one. I think it's a nice tension, and yeah, I mean, post production, well, quite a few others. Non-negotiable is gonna be beautiful comedy for family. I'm very proud of that one. Director is amazing. And we just finished the grades, and they're finishing the sound as we speak as well. That one I think is going to be very nice on festivals. I'm so excited to share that one with you all. And yeah, I could tell you about quite a few more, but I think I just gonna make everyone bored. Yeah, I have Capochai, which is a beautiful family drama about Indian traditions with a girl who decides to create a kappa chai tea for her mom, and that's been in post production right now. Then another one about alcoholism, and yes, about alcohol culture. That one is very nice. It's work for charity, and I think it's just to create awareness about how much of the alcohol culture there is in the UK and how we can, make it better in that sense. Save the Queen is that one, and there is quite a few more, but yeah, I'm just not. They're all in post production. It's just like I've been doing quite a few ones like in the last 3 months. So yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
it definitely sounds like you've been busy. Well, hopefully, when these are ready to pop off to the world, you're gonna come back and we can talk some more about your
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah. Of course, of course. I'm happy to do that as long as people don't get bored.
Ah, Keith, fair. No one can get bored of you. It's a delight to watch your work and to hear you talk about it. So yeah, the door is always open. So
Nice.
come back, and yeah, I'm looking forward to having more conversations about just all of these films. And yeah, because remember, as I said, I sing, I dance, I do comedy. I can be a straight role. Yo, I do it all, kid. So
I'm
keep
not
me in mind,
surprised.
man.
I mean, I'm not surprised. Like when I met you, I was like, oh my god, this guy rocks. Like he's just like so chill. I love your energy. It's like I love the fact that you laugh so much. It's like your positive energy is like just inundates everything, and it's so beautiful. It's great.
Thank you. Now tell the people how they can find you and follow the work you're doing. Also, let the the directors, the producers know how they can get hold of you, because hey, they need to get into that queue because your docket is pretty full. So yeah, let everyone know how they can get hold of Bea Delgado Mena.
So yeah, like everyone calls me Bea, but my actual name is Beatriz, Beatriz Delgado Mena, and you can find me on Instagram if you type Beatriz with Z, so Beatriz dot delgado dot top, or you can even Google me and you will see my website there, beatrizdelgadomena.com, and yeah, there. I guess that I'm online on places, so yeah, it should be fine.
Well, we'll put all your details, your links and whatnot in the episode details, people. So yeah, people go give Bea a follow, because yeah, mad talented, and as you can hear, she has a lot of stuff coming. So you want to be on board now before she's mad busy and she's all up in Hollywood and we can't get a hold of
I don't
her.
think so.
Okay.
I'm very happy in London, so but anyway, things come, it's fine.
Hey, well, Bea, it's been a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank
the
you very
same.
much for your time. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your time in Spain.
Thank you, Kevin, and thank you so much, everyone of you for for visiting us and having listening to us. And I'm just saying now the stuff that's anyway, guys. Um, nice to to talk with you again, Kevin, and nice to meet you all.
All right, Bea, you take care, okay?
Ciao, ciao.
All right. Bye.